There aren't many Christians in our country. I mean, we're talking about a group of 20 or 30,000 evangelicals in a land of 11 million. It's a secular, materialistic country, very individualistic, and this is the challenge we've been facing.
What I can say about my country is it's a great mission field. I have read somewhere that there are only like 2% of evangelical Christians, and many people know literally nothing about Christianity.
If you think that we have 8,050 cities in Italy, but only near 1,000 of them have got at least one evangelical church. So still we have 7,000 cities in Italy without even a witness of the gospel among them.
Europe is the most secular continent in the world. It is the only continent where the evangelical church has been declining over the past 100 years. Today, it has the smallest percentage of born-again Christians in the world. It would surprise many to know that Europe is the most needy mission field in the world. Many are thrilled that the gospel is growing rapidly in other continents, but they don't realize that another system is currently growing and spreading worldwide much more quickly than the evangelical church: unbelief. According to the World Christian Encyclopedia, unbelief has grown a full 15% of the world's population in the last 100 years. Europe is the source of this global spiritual epidemic of unbelief. While 90% of the world's atheists were in Europe in 1900, over 85% of the world's atheists are now located outside Europe. Unbelief has replaced Europe's historic Christianity and is still growing at an alarming rate. Over the past century, the number of people claiming unbelief in Europe has continued to increase to about 130 million. If the church in Europe, and indeed the world, is to be helped, antidotes to Europe's unbelief must be found in Europe and distributed around the world.
There's a great crisis that's coming upon us in Europe and in the UK especially as well, where we know that lots of pastors will retire. Where are we going to get our next generation leaders? They are out there. God is raising up leaders, but they just can't access the right training and education. So we have to find new and innovative ways to get that to them, to get that access.
I think we are in a sort of crisis in Germany, and we're just absolutely desperate for God to bring something new into being, and really asking God, can you do that again? Can you once again shake up our country and nation?
In the midst of a secular continent, God is raising up a new generation of vibrant European Christian leaders. They are committed, spiritually mature, and fruitful leaders seeking to be faithful in what God has called them to do in their ministries. The European Leadership Forum's vision is to renew the biblical church and evangelize Europe. Our mission to accomplish this is to unite, equip, and to resource evangelical leaders. The heart of the Forum movement is about developing leaders, as Jesus did. In Matthew 9, he longs for shepherds who will protect, feed, and guide his people. He tells his disciples to pray for workers, for shepherds, for leaders. Through the Forum, leaders are united. They're loved, encouraged, and mentored in a relational context. Then they are equipped. They receive mentoring, training, best practices, and strategies each leader needs in order to do what God has called them to do more effectively. Finally, they are resourced. The Forum provides a bridge for them to access God's global resources and local leaders from all over Europe. As a result, leaders are developed and become more fruitful and effective in their ministry roles.
When I came to the ELF the first time, I was a pastor who was isolated in the ministry, surrounded by many people who were drifting away from the faith. So it was a very discouraging situation. I had no idea there were so many other Christian leaders like me who either were struggling like me or had already found a larger fellowship or a pool of resources that they could rebuild their convictions. So when I came here, I was just shocked by what I had experienced at the forum. I don't see anything in Europe that would have a more powerful effect on the continent as far as the gospel is concerned than the European Leadership Forum.
Well, I must tell you, I wait the whole year to actually come to the forum. It's been life-changing. If I use like an image, I would probably compare it to being like in the kingdom. The knowledge that we get, it's something that makes us stronger and something that equips us, not only in skills, but actually we feel like we are loved. Because, you know, when you're like a small, tiny group of evangelical Christians, in a way, you're alone. And here we really feel like we are part of something bigger, and God is bringing us together, and we just feel loved.
Francis Schaeffer used to use a beautiful phrase. He said, when we're involved in Christian ministry and we touch someone's life, it's like putting your finger in a pond. And as you put your finger in the pond, you see the ripple going out from your finger across the lake. And he said, when we take initiative in Christian ministry, what you're doing is you're creating ripples that go on forever. And our hope is that out of this forum, there will be ripples that are felt forever, with eternal implications across the globe.